We're going to hold on a second. Okay. Good evening, everyone. So the time is 6:01 p.m., and I hereby call this meeting of the Student Government Senate to order. And so with that, we'll begin with a roll call. When I read your name, please respond here or present. Gopa. Here. Rolls. Here. Chenoweth. Here. Everhart. Campstra. Kloppenstein. Did I say that right? Awesome. Hackbarth. Here. Keeler. Swank. Here. Janes. Reichertz. Mahoney. Here. Trotter. Here. Cecil. Here. Eisma. Here. Wellman. Momini. Sinaddle. Larson. And Persley. And so with that, we do have quorum for the evening. So if that, we'll move into the Pledge of Allegiance led by Speaker Hackbarth.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And so seeing no Senate program for the evening, we'll move into open forum. Open forum shall serve as an opportunity for students to speak about issues relevant to the student body. And so if anyone tonight is here for open forum, I would ask that you approach the podium at this time. Seeing none, we'll move into adopting tonight's agenda, but I believe we do have amendments that need to be made.
Mr. Vice President, I move to amend the agenda by adding 2023-2-028SC, confirming the nominee to Director of Marketing to the end of internal matters.
And so it has been moved to add item 2023-2-028SC. There's been a second on that. Is there any objection to adding that to tonight's agenda? Seeing none, it shall be added. And so if that, are there any further amendments, or would someone like to motion to adopt the agenda? It's been moved and seconded to adopt tonight's agenda. Excuse me. Is there any objection to doing so? Seeing none, it shall be adopted. And so if that, will move into approving the minutes of last meeting. Is there a motion to do so? I'm going to take that as a second. It's been moved and seconded to adopt the previous minutes. Is there any objection to adopting those? Seeing none, they shall be adopted. And so if that, will move into committee reports, starting with rules led by Speaker Hackbarth.
So rules met Monday night. We saw 2 confirmation bills for senators, a fraternity senator and a UROC senator. We had a lot of great questions for them, and they were incredibly passionate and incredibly excited to stand before you tonight. So we're looking forward to seeing those bills come up. We talked about our goals as a committee for this upcoming term and what we would like to accomplish before the end of the year. We also talked about how we are going to be delegating responsibilities going forward. Vice Speaker Campstra and I have a meeting this weekend where we will be doing some kind of behind the scenes logistics to make that happen. But other than that, that's it.
Are there any questions for the Rules Committee or Speaker Hackbarth? Seeing none, we'll move into the Finance Committee led by Finance Director Hirsch.
Hi, everyone. Finance Committee met yesterday. We have one new bill for you. It's about funding a printer for student government. Really straightforward. And then we also have the funding Cyclone Family Weekend that we saw at last session. Their treasurer's here tonight, Julia, and then she'll be able to answer any questions about the bill.
Are there any questions? Seeing none, we'll move into the PR Committee. I don't believe our Senior Director of Communications is with us tonight, so Senator Everhart.
Hello, everyone. So PR had our first committee meeting last night, and we had 2 interested at-larges attend, and myself. We kind of covered just like boosting our social media presence, so enhancing our Instagram, and doing a couple, little fun things. So Tuesday exec takeovers, Fun Fact Fridays, going over some committee highlights and having those tagged in the Instagram, potentially doing senator spotlights and some story polls just for engagement, just so we can, gauge and kind of see what exactly everybody's wanting to see from us on those social media sites. Also doing birthday story posts. And we also are looking into the possibility of holding a PR event on campus. So that would primarily be for recruitment, so we can get our numbers up. And then as far as tabling events, we have an event with the Panhellenic community on the 17th, and we're also looking into Cals Week and going to career fairs. And then just a couple of reminders to round it off. Please put your birthdays in the MIS, and please repost the things that we post on social media. I feel like that's not asking a lot, but it definitely gains traction whenever we repost things. And then also, we looked into the possibility of doing an apparel order. So if you guys have preferences for what you want on that apparel order, please let me know. Any questions?
So seeing no questions, we have not yet filled our DEI-related cabinet posts, so I would open it up if anyone would like to give any DEI-related updates to the group. And so seeing none, as kind of a side comment, if someone would like to close the door, that would be great. Thank you, Senator Trotter. And so seeing no questions, we'll move into student initiatives. Again, we have not sat a chair. We'll be seeing one tonight. But would anyone like to give any SI-related updates? Seeing none, we'll move into local affairs with our new ex officio.
There we go. Hello, everyone. So we had our first, or my first City Hall meeting yesterday. There wasn't too much in terms of stuff for us, but September is now proclaimed. Let me find it real quick. There's an official. They proclaimed September as Ames Art Month. So be sure to appreciate the art around you in the Ames community. Oh yeah, that'll help. So as for the Affairs Committee, we have not yet met. We are still figuring out times and locations and stuff like that, but I'll get back to you on that. So that's it.
And so with that, are there any questions for the Local Affairs Committee? Seeing none, we'll move into sustainability with our Director of Sustainability.
Hi, everyone. This week, I am interviewing interested senators. I've already met with Eric and Sophie. I'm sorry, I forgot. Josie. I'm so sorry. Next week, I will be interviewing at-larges who have submitted applications, and I'm hoping next week we can add senators and have them confirmed to be on the committee, and then in 2 weeks, we can have at-larges added. So, the main message is, as it has been for the past couple weeks, if you have anyone interested in joining as an at-large, have them fill out the link that I posted last week or just refer them to me. That is all. Thank you.
Are there any questions for our Sustainability Committee? Seeing none, we'll move into Health and Wellness with our Director of Health and Wellness.
Hi, everyone. There's not a lot of huge updates about health and wellness this week. We are still working on our Party Smart campaign, so we are hoping to host an event for that potentially next week, definitely the first week of October. And so if we need volunteers for that, I'll definitely be posting that in our general Teams chat, so just be on the lookout for that. We would love some help. I am still in the process of interviewing senators for the committee, so if you are interested, the application is on Speaker Hackbar's document. And I'm still looking for at-larges, so if you know anyone that would be interested, please send them my way. Thank you.
Are there any questions for the Health and Wellness Committee? Seeing none, finally, we'll move on to the legislative ambassadors. And if I'm not mistaken, I don't believe our Director of Governmental Affairs is here. So would anyone like to give any legislative ambassador-related updates? Seeing none, we'll move into Senator Janes. It's been moved and seconded to add Senator Wellman to the roll. Is there any objection to doing so? Seeing none, he shall be sat. And so with that, we'll move on to comments from the judicial branch.
Hello, everyone. I don't have any new updates at the moment. We're still getting nominees, and Election Commission. That's new priority. Thank you.
So are there any questions for the judicial branch at this time? Seeing none, we'll move into comments from our advisor.
Hello, everyone. Just a few updates. If you have scheduled a meeting with me and met with me, thank you. I hope you have enjoyed talking to me as much as I've enjoyed talking to you. If you have one coming up, you are on my calendar, so I look forward to speaking with you. And if you have not signed up for a meeting with me, please do that. I am requesting that we just chat. It literally can be however long that you need it to be. I'm just here to provide support and resources and get to know you. Beyond that, if you have not read my email regarding the student government door, I sent this out a while ago, so there has not been a new update. There is a section about checking out a prox card. So if you have not seen that, please read that section if you currently do not have door access. If you are getting confirmed tonight, please see me after the meeting so I can get some information from you, so I can get you on to our student government systems. Did you talk about it? Okay, never mind then. That's all I have.
Are there any questions? Seeing no questions, we'll finally move on to comments from the executive branch with President Holliday.
Hello, everybody. This week has been a busy week. I was just typing up my notes to make sure I didn't forget to say anything to you all. So going back to last Friday, Vice President Margaret and I had the opportunity to attend the Athletics Council dinner, which was extremely exciting. We were able to chat with some great people, met Jamie Pollard, chatted with President Winterstein. We heard Matt Campbell give a presentation about his outlook for the rest of the football season. And we also received an update on Sci-Town while we were at this dinner, which they recently announced their first addition to Sci-Town, which will be the McFarland Clinic, placed right across from the Jacobson Athletics building. So that was the Athletics Council dinner that we were able to attend. I also recently had a meeting with the Department of IT just to get some updates on what they're up to. We heard a lot of updates about Student Workday. So some things related to Student Workday that I just wanted everybody to know that you will be sooner rather than later. Starting in the spring of 24, we will start registering for classes. So when it comes time to register for fall 24 classes, we will be using Workday. It also will be time in the fall of 24 when it's time to pay for tuition. All of our finances will be going through Student Workday by that point as well. Also related to Student Workday, this is an exciting announcement as it was something that many students have been asking for. There will be an option on there to put your preferred name and potentially put your preferred pronouns as well. So then using your preferred name, you will be able to have that available for all advisors as well as professors. So then when you attend class, you don't have to go up and say, hey, I would rather be called this. You would already have that available, so you don't have to go through that process. I thought that was exciting, and I wanted everybody to know that as well. This morning, I had the opportunity to attend President's Council. A lot of amazing people there. President Winterstein gave a great presentation, as well as the Department of IT, and then United Way talked as well. And today, we found out that the university has held an 87.5% retention rate with students across the university, which is 20% above the national average for universities our size. So that is huge for Iowa State, so go us. Surely that means that we are doing something right here in student government, because as much of an impact as we make across campus, that helps keep students around. I met with Cyride today. It was a great opportunity to get to meet Barb at Cyride. She had a lot to share, a lot related to finances and future outlooks. So we're looking forward to hearing more from them in the coming weeks. And then Quinn and I also had a giant meeting ourselves last night to develop our big picture items. So cabinet members, be on the lookout for big picture items and projects, initiatives that we would like to start working on within your committees. And senators, be looking forward to working on them when you get delegated to various committees that you would like to be on. Thank you.
Are there any questions for President Holliday? Seeing none, we'll move into the business of this evening. And seeing no special matters, we'll start with external matters, specifically item 2023-2-001F, Funding Cyclone Family Weekend with Senator Janes.
Yes. I did talk about this last week, so it's the same bill we read last week where we're funding for Cyclone Family Weekend, and I'm going to yield the rest of it to, obviously, the representative.
And so with that, the floor is open for debate, starting with Senator Mahoney.
I'm just curious, did you guys reach out to Event Funding Board at all for help with this? Okay. You typically with entertainment, they're on a case-by-case basis, and we usually ask that they go talk to Committee on Lectures or Event Funding Board first. That being said, we're funding a department here, so they're not bound by P&C, so we can more or less do what we want. So having an entertainer at Cyclone Family Weekend sounds great to me.
Is there any further discussion on this bill? Speaker Hackbarth.
I don't know if I missed this. Do you have an idea or know who the entertainer is going to be? Okay. I don't know who that is, but as long as you do, that's all that matters. With that, I yield.
Vice Speaker Kamstra.
Can you just give like a 30-second elevator pitch onto who that is? Because I'm like, that could be a comedian, that could be a motivational speaker, for all I know. Okay. Okay. There you go. And then, how would this fit into the events of Family Weekend? Okay. Okay, and then where will this be held at? MU? Is it Great Hall? Awesome. Sounds good. I just didn't know, so I figured I'd ask. So.
Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, is there a call to question? Call to question has been called for. Is there any objection to voting now? Seeing none, closing comments. Thank you from Senator Janes. Seeing no closing comments, we'll move into a vote, seeing as this is a finance bill. And so when I read your name, please say yes, no, or abstain. Gopa. Yes. Rolls. Chenoweth. Yes. Everhart. Yes. Kamstra. Yes. Kloppenstein. Yes. Hackbarth. Yes. Kuehler. Yes. Swank. Yes. Janes. Yes. Mahoney.
Yes.
Trotter. Cecil. Eisma. Wellman. Larson. And Pursley. And so with that, I believe with a vote of 17 to 0, the motion carries. And so with that, we'll move into internal matters, starting with item 2023-2-019SC, confirming the nomination of an asset volunteer with Speaker Hackbarth.
All right, if the nominee would like to approach the podium. Colton has been a huge part of student government. I've had the privilege of working with him for the past year and a half. He's been, full pun intended, an asset to student government in both rules and finance. And I would like to yield any of my time left to President Holliday to speak on the nominee's behalf.
Hi, everybody. So asset, as we know, is a finance-related position. Colton has served on our finance committee for a couple of years now. He also is a business major and has incredible experience within the economics industry. He has been talking about this position for quite a while now. He's clearly very passionate, and I think that he would be an excellent representative of student government and the students across our campus. So please listen to what he has to say. I think he's going to be amazing within this position.
And so with that, the floor is open for debate. Senator Cecil.
This is more of a point of inquiry, but does this remove him from Senate? Okay. The wording saying it's a position on executive cabinet had me confused.
Senator Keeler.
Hi, Colton. Just one question for you. I guess what's your biggest goal, if you have any, thus far that you'd like to accomplish being an asset volunteer? Awesome. Thank you. I yield.
If you would like to withdraw, we still have Senator Janes. So, Senator Janes.
To answer Senator Cecil's question, I think I'm going to yield my time to President Holiday because I think she. Oh, they're figuring it out. Never mind. Then I guess I yield my time in general. I was just going to try to catch up.
So to my knowledge, we're discussing a potential amendment. Is that correct? Friendly? Okay.
Point of information.
Yes.
So should we make a motion to are we just waiting?
It would be great if we could wait a moment for the friendly, and I didn't see Senator Gopa, so I'll move to him in a second. But it'd be great if we can wait for the friendly before we call the question. But Senator Gopa.
So the friendly amendment would be changing executive cabinet to asset liaison role. Yep. Since he would still be a member of the legislative branch.
Oh my gosh.
It's spelled correctly now. So, if anyone would like to make a call to question at this time, it's been called for and seconded. Is there any objection to voting now at this time? Seeing none, you see in a moment, but first, closing comments this is Speaker Hackbarth. No closing comments, and so UC has been called for. Is there any objection to passing this motion by way of unanimous consent? Seeing none, the motion carries. We're going to clap for that. Come on. And so with that, we'll move into item 2023-2-022SD, confirming the nomination of a fraternity senator with, again, Speaker Hackbarth.
All right, Hunter, if you want to approach the podium. While he's approaching, I'll give a little bit of backstory that's going on here. I actually got recommended Hunter from another member of our fraternity because of his interest in bettering the university, pursuing a career in political science, in politics, and his big heart for change, and wanting to see everybody else improve and stuff like that. So I give my full support behind Hunter. I think he's going to do a great role, going to do a great job in this role, communicating between the fraternities and the IFC Council, but also between student government, answering your questions about fraternity life specifically at Iowa State. So with that, I will yield the rest of Anna's time to Hunter.
And so with that, the floor is open for questions, starting with Senator Trotter.
Hello. I heard you speak a great deal about altering the perception of fraternities on campus. Do you intend to meaningfully change, though, the actions of the fraternities, not just merely changing our perception of them?
Point of information. His actual role is representing those that are living in the fraternity houses. He doesn't represent the chapters themselves. He represents the men that live in the houses within fraternity life. So that's just a point of information. He's not the IFC senator. He's representing those that live in the housing of Greek fraternities. So just point of information.
And so if that, is that the end of your question and answer then? Okay. So if that, we'll move on to Senator Janes.
So I guess my first question is, how are you going to balance, just because, you know, the Greek houses are spread out, like how are you going to be able to make sure you know what all of the different fraternity houses like kind of want and what their opinions are on upcoming bills? And then you mentioned rules and PR committee due to you not hearing about student government, and I bet just your general interest in rules. But like your main interest in your speech was about like things that would kind of fit into wellness and health. So, what committee are you kind of feeling about? Like now that I mentioned that, or are you still kind of? Yeah, absolutely. And then I'm trying to think of any other questions. I believe that's it. I yield.
Moving down the line then to Senator Everhart.
I just have a fun question for you. If you were to describe yourself in one word, what would it be?
The question has been called for and seconded. Is there any objection to taking a vote at this time? Seeing none, closing comment, Speaker Heckbarth. Seeing none, UC has been called for. Is there any objection to passing this nominee by way of unanimous consent? Seeing none, congratulations. And if you could hang up there for just a moment, we can get you sworn in. It's been moved to remove Senator Eisma from the roll, even though he's still at this table. I know, go, you're fine. Is there any objection to removing Senator Eisma? Seeing none, he shall be removed. Yes. It's been moved to add Senator Schneider to the roll. I believe we're saying that correctly. Is there any objection to doing so? Seeing none, they shall be sat. And so with that, we'll move into our second Senate nomination for this evening, item 2023-2-023SD, confirming the nomination of a UROC senator with, again, Speaker Heckbarth.
Gosh, I am just a popular person tonight. If the nominee will please approach the podium. So Sydney was nominated to us by the UROT Council, and Rules had a really wonderful time talking to her. She is very thorough, has a lot of really great ideas. And with that, I'm going to let her introduce herself, so please ask her a lot of questions.
Okay, and so with that, the floor is open for debate, starting with Senator Cecil.
I feel this candidate is great, but if we could work on listening to the candidates when they're talking, there were questions on the last two bills that were answered when they approached the podium. We're here to listen to them and decide that. We shouldn't be asking them things they've already said. Thank you. I yield.
Moving on to Senator Wellman.
All right, so I don't necessarily have a question, but I give you my full endorsement. Sydney and I actually grew up together, and we went to the same high school together. She was actually my sister's best friend growing up, so she'll make a great addition, and I'm just here right now speaking to her character. She will work really hard, so she'd be a great addition to Senate. Thank you, I yield.
Senator Janes.
So you mentioned that the two committees that you're interested in is rules and PR. What are some, I guess PR is a lot easier to say, changes you would like to see, like goals you would want to bring into those committees? Got it. I yield.
Senator Everhart.
I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked the previous candidate. If you were to describe yourself in one word, what would it be?
Senator Janes, are you just making sure? There's been a call to question and a second. Is there any objection to moving into a vote now? Seeing none, closing comments, Speaker Hackbarth. Seeing no closing comments, UC has been called for. Is there any objection to passing this nominee by way of unanimous consent? Seeing none, congratulations. And again, if you could stay up there for just a moment. Yes. It's been moved to add Senator Jones to the roll. Is there any objection to doing so? Seeing none, they shall be added. And so with that, congratulations to both of our new senators, and we'll move on to a new type of nomination for this evening, item 2023-2-025SC, confirming a nominee to the Election Commission with, again, Speaker Hackbarth.
Okay, I have a statement here from Election Commissioner Clayton. He is unable to be here with us tonight to introduce the candidate, but if our candidate, are they here? Perfect. If you want to go up to the podium, I'm going to read the introduction, and then we are going to give our full undivided attention and hear him introduce himself. So, hi y'all, sorry I couldn't be there tonight, but I wanted to introduce Santi. As he and I have talked, I have found him to be a strong leader who is smart and eager to do what he can for the Election Commission. He has a solid history of leadership positions, which I'm sure he will tell you all about, and a helpful attitude that I would really like to work with. So with that, the floor is yours.
With that, the floor is open for debate, starting with Senator Janes.
So you brought up some ways on how you think on improving election committees, starting with, reaching out to other organizations. Just from initial reactions from this past election just happened, what would be some things that you've noticed we can improve? Yeah. And then when you were listening to leadership positions, a lot of them sounded like they focus a lot on administrative work. What's some experience you have in more of the marketing side, which seems to be what your goals are oriented towards? Got it. I yield.
Senator Gopa.
So election commission is usually the busiest in February because of the elections. Last semester I had a couple of problems contacting election commission and just getting emails back from them. Do you promise to read my emails and get back to them? Because that's all I want, honestly. Yeah, that's all I needed. Thank you.
With that, are there any other questions or any further debate? Senator Janes, I'm sorry.
Building off of that, I know obviously we haven't scheduled our classes. Do you know roughly credit level and things you would have to do come next semester, because that's when you'll be the busiest? Got it. Thank you. I yield.
Call to question has been called for and seconded. Is there any objection to ending debate and moving into a vote at this time? Seeing none, closing comments with Speaker Hackbarth. Seeing no closing comments, UC has been called for. Is there any objection to passing this nominee by way of unanimous consent? Seeing none, the motion carries. We got to clap. Come on. And so with that, we'll move into a bill not authored by Speaker Hackbarth, item 2023-2-026 SG, seating a senator to Health and Wellness with Senator Kuehler.
I guess someone had to break Speaker Hackbarth's monopoly on the bills tonight. But I'll yield my opening speaking privilege to Director Spahn.
Thank you. So I interviewed Senator Swank last week to be on my committee, and the interview went very well. He is very passionate about mental health initiatives on this campus. He expressed a lot of interest in collaborating with student counseling services, which is also a great passion of mine. He also expressed interest in working on issues regarding the LGBTQ+ population here on campus, collaborating with their Success Center, and I think he would be a great addition to my committee.
And so with that, the floor is open for any questions or discussion, starting with Senator James.
I'm just going to give him some time. I guess my question would be, what are some initiatives, I know it's focusing on mental health, that you kind of want to talk about?
Yeah, so I want to see like monthly check-ins in people's emails. I know people don't like emails, but whenever you go to the therapist, I see a regular therapist. We always check. We have this little 10-question check-in, and you rate yourself from like 1 to 5 of how you're feeling. And I think in honor of Suicide Prevention Month this month, I think that we should bring up something like that in this committee, just to check in how people are doing, and if people kind of score like not so well in that mental health checklist, then we might have like a therapist reach out to them on campus and see how they're doing and ask them to come in. So that's my biggest thing that I want to do.
Yeah. And then building off of that, I do know that our current like on like campus therapy, at least in person, is a little backlog because they get so busy. Are you strategizing, and then if it gets too busy for a therapist to be able to connect with them, having them connect with more like OWL, I believe is what it's called?
Yeah, I believe you guys funded something a couple years ago. Yep. So maybe expanding on that. We talked about that too.
Got it. I yield.
Moving on to Speaker Hackbarth.
Okay. So I think you have a really great idea about doing a mental health checklist. My one concern, and I do not know the exact legality of this, but who would be collecting that information and who would be looking at that? Because seeing as that is a part of an individual's health and well-being, that is also protected, I believe, under HIPAA. And so we can't share that information with an outside source like a therapist unless it goes to
Student services.
there would have to be some kind of fail-safe with that. And I know that's obviously, like, I'm not going to ask you to spill all of the logistics on how this would work now, but I did want to bring that to light. And I had another question for you, but I think you answered it really well, which was like, what are your goals with the role and what would you like to see come from it with a project? So with that, I yield.
Okay. Thank you.
So moving on to Senator Trotter.
I understand we spent a good deal of time interrogating this singular idea. Is this your main goal? Do you have any other more general opinions?
I'd say like 80% of our meeting was about mental health. I feel like that's something that we could use a lot of work on for our students. Going through college and change is hard, so we did talk more about the LGBT community and their mental health specifically too. But yeah, I don't know. We haven't gotten into meetings yet. I'm not even sat, so these are just ideas.
And I understand that you spoke about having a past in utilizing mental health resources. Do you happen to have any background in mental health or health in general or psychology or anything of that nature?
I do not. I use mental illnesses.
And so with that, is there any further discussion on this bill? Called for and seconded. Is there any objection to ending debate and entering a vote? Seeing none, closing comments, Senator Kuehler. Seeing no closing comments. UC has been overwhelmingly called for. Is there any objection to passing this motion by way of unanimous consent? Seeing none, the motion carries. So with that, we'll move into a cabinet confirmation, item 2023-2-027SC, confirming a nominee to Director of Student Services with Speaker Hackbarth.
Okay, if the nominee would like to approach the podium. Okay, beautiful. So I sent out an email to Megan just asking for kind of their motivation and why they wanted to run for this position, and I really, really loved her answers. She has a lot of really great ideas. She has a lot of experience, and I think she's going to be a great fit for the role. So Megan, take it away.
Hi, I'm Megan, and I'm running for the Director of Student Services. And I knew this year I wanted to have a leadership position, and I learned about all the different positions available, and I knew that this would be the best fit for me. I've had past experiences planning events, like for the dorm floor. I've done like the whole resident hall. I've had connected multiple different dorm floors with or resident halls, I guess, with planning different events. But then I also know how to work with a committee of people, and I've had experience with connecting and I guess leading like a finance committee. So I do know how to connect people, make sure everyone's voices are heard, run a committee. I have lots of ideas for this position as well, and I can go into detail if need be, but I can answer any questions as well now.
Starting with Senator James.
I'm only bringing this up because he did bring up the residence hall as a specific example. I had a meeting with them, and they did talk about that, how they were having some issues with lower engagement and attendance, or strategies that you did to mitigate it, or did you feel like when you were planning your events, you didn't feel that?
So I kind of feel like it depends on how you market it towards other people, because at least the events that my floor planned, we had a lot of good turnout, but I knew if more people are gonna we had really high successful rates with food and kind of having incentives, and people really came to those. I would say my floor did really good with planning events, but I think reaching out to people and just kind of spreading the word, because I didn't know you guys really did a lot of events, I guess, until I learned more about the position. So
Yeah. Can you explain some of your marketing experience outside of that? Because with it being in your residence hall, you do kind of live with them. So you're going to be marketing to people that are not as easily accessible. So what's the marketing experience you have that, or strategies that you have?
I haven't really thought about it that much, but I do know that having posters around and just kind of being oh, this is and your classes, you walk by and you see things, or having some sort of communication, even in apartments, just certain things there's around that a lot of people, I guess, look for.
Yeah. And then to break out of your specific example, can you just describe some other goals that you had? Because I know you said you would elaborate.
Yes. So I know some of the events, I guess I was kind of thinking were holiday kind of specific ones. Those are really always really good for bringing people together. I know movie events, and also I wrote it down. Trivia and bingo nights too. Those are always really fun. They get people together, and it's kind of a good way to meet people when you I don't know, when people are wanting to meet new people. And I remember when I was a freshman, I didn't know that many people specifically too. So
Yeah. And then my final question, for those holiday and movie events, will you be working with DEI and the International Student Board to maybe help with them? Because I know International Student wanted to get more international movies out. And with DEI, there's that idea of what holidays to promote due to connotations and who can celebrate them.
yes, definitely for that. I don't want to send the wrong message. I want to make sure that everyone approves of it, and I can get the most, I guess, amount of people there.
Got it. Thank you. I yield.
Moving on to Senator Gopa.
Point of information, so Director of Student Services runs SI. Okay, yeah, I was just making sure because I was confused. Will you continue to do the previous events we did last year, like Safety Walk and Pumpkin Passing and Wolves and Wellness? Why am I saying that? Wolves and Wellness, yeah, word.
Yes, I do want to definitely continue, because those do sound really good. I just didn't know much about them, but I do want to continue to do that. They sound very fun and a good way to bring people together. So.
Do you have any ideas on how to improve student engagement in these events?
I think just making it known for more people that that this is available, I guess, and that they have because I feel the main way to get people to know more about student services, or not student services, but student government, is through what they see. And even I said this on an email too, even if you had a booth of snacks just promoting student government, so they were oh, student government's passing this out, and they're oh yeah, they planned this event, I'm gonna go to this, or just small things like that, I guess.
Cool.
Just so that we're in the back of their head when they're oh yeah, they do this, let me look this up. Or because once it's in someone's back of their head, they're okay, I'm gonna reach out and see on their main page.
Yeah, I yield.
Speaker Hackbarth.
Okay, this was one question that I asked in our email correspondence earlier that I think is really important to touch on for our senators. Director leads a committee of senators and at-larges, and I would like you to talk a little bit more about your leadership style and a little bit more maybe about how your leadership roles will help aid you in this kind of new responsibility you're taking on.
Yes. So in the email, I just kind of said that I definitely will come with my own ideas, but then I like to build off like what other people have, because like my idea can become so much better, or like someone could have like a 10 times better idea too, if you just kind of like listen. So I kind of think that's a little bit of mine. And then, but I'm very organized. Like I said, I don't know, I go through email and I check everything and I just clarify. I like to kind of organize it that way. So just kind of getting input from others, and then like still having like my ideas if like no one's gonna talk or has like much, because I can definitely talk. So.
And so if that, is there any further discussion? Second. It's been moved and seconded to end debate and move into a vote. Is there any objection to doing so? Seeing none, closing comment, Speaker Hackbarth. UC has been called for again by multiple people. Is there any objection to passing this nominee by way of unanimous consent? Seeing no objection, the motion carries. So with that, our next cabinet post, item 2023-2-028SC, confirming a nominee to Director of Marketing with Speaker Hackbarth.
Okay, so if our nominee is approaching the podium, I sent our lovely nominee a very late email last night asking very similar questions to what I asked to now our newly confirmed Director of Student Initiatives. And he's got more experience than me when it comes to marketing, and truly just a phenomenal resume with a lot of really meaningful ideas about collaboration across more than just PR, but collaborating with student initiatives, collaborating with DE&I, and just hosting a variety of events. And so take it away.
Hi everyone, I'm Dev Rokre. I'm a junior in computer science and I'm minoring in data science. Since my time here at Iowa State, for the past 2 years, I've learned to grow in Ames and love Ames for the summers, the fall, and even the terrible winters as well. It's just a beautiful place to be, and I would want to share that experience that I've had over the years and the things that I've learned over the years to the students who just come in as freshmen, and they are kind of lost in some places. They do not know which resources to explore. And the funniest thing was like last year, the first time I came to know about student government was in 2022, I think August or September, when there was a small booth set up outside of Parks Library where student government was giving out free stickers. And at first I saw that, okay, what if there's a cool sticker? I need a sticker to put on my laptop. And that's why I just walked up. And then I talked about student government, and then it was actually a really fun experience. I feel like small things like these actually do bring people in, do make people feel like they want to participate and contribute to the student government and to Iowa State in general. One of the ideas that I had for expanding the message of student government, whatever is being done by student government, the initiatives, is just collaborating with various directors and various senators. For example, Senator Hackbarth mentioned about the DEI committee, also with health and wellness, trying to promote access services which are totally free for students, but not many students know about it, and just making sure that people feel like this is a happy place for you to be in, and the student government is here to help them in any way possible that they want to. Thank you.
And so with that, the floor is open for any questions or discussion, starting with Senator Janes.
So I guess your first question was like, it seems like your main marketing strategy is kind of like that person-to-person marketing.
Yeah.
So what is kind of your availability for this semester and next semester? Because that's going to take a lot more time than just by making posts and post schedules and stuff like that. Will you have the time to do that?
Right. So I am a big believer in the fact that it's not a one-person job. Though like my availability is good enough for these events to work out, but I mean like if if different committees, if different volunteers come together and try to work things out collaboratively, then the load is being shared within different committees and different people, thereby not making it a single burden on one single person, thereby not needing to have probably like 4 hours a day. Rather than that, if someone puts in like 30 minutes a day, uh, and 8 people put 30 minutes a day, that works out more better for everyone, where everyone can spare 30 minutes, but just sparing 4 hours a day for someone could be a bit of a struggle at times. So I feel like collaborative management would be the best way to help these person-to-person events succeed.
And then can you talk about your past experiences within marketing?
Yeah, sure. So I founded my own startup in June of 2020. It has been more than 3 years now. That startup was focused on social media marketing, digital marketing, web development, a lot of all of that stuff. Started out in COVID. Uh, I was just looking for a way to help people because I was just bored in my house and college hadn't started yet. And it turned into something really big, and I'm glad to share about that as well.
Got it. And then you talked about a little bit like getting new students to learn about it. What about like kind of retaining like interest in student government throughout the years when we're past the big career fairs and club fests and stuff like that?
Right. I feel like Club Fest is definitely an interesting place where student government can do outreach. But my honest opinion with career fairs would be that people are not in the exact mindset to have that soaking in mentality to learn more about student government when they're actually nervous trying to talk to the interviewers and just trying to get an internship or a job or a recommendation, something like that. So I feel like we could do something like probably give out free snacks, free refreshments, water. Water is a very essential part in the career fairs where people do not get water, the employers do, but the students do not have water counters as much. So just giving out that, just making sure people feel comfortable, and then just putting an underlying message that this is funded by the student government or something like that. That could create awareness in that place. But with Club Fest, we could go on a bit aggressive approach and just try to explain to students how will student government help them as well. Like, for example, with their resumes, with their experiences, and just trying to boost that up.
Got it. And then I guess my final question would be if you can talk about kind of your leadership style. It seems like it's very collaborative because you immediately brought up wanting to work with other committee heads and committees. If you can dive a little bit more into that.
Yeah, sure. So I would say my leadership style is more like collaborativeness, and also I like to delegate a lot. I would create a framework at first as to how I want things done, like how I expect things to be done. But I like to delegate some things, especially on the creative side, for example, with strategies, social media posts, reels, all of that stuff. Just because I feel like everyone has a different way and a perspective to look at things. And as long as it falls within the framework of what the end result is expected, I feel like it can give a lot of diversity and variety within the opinions, thereby opening us up to new options and not have any biases as well when we do our marketing.
Got it. Thank you. I yield.
Speaker Hackbarth.
All right, so when we emailed earlier, you mentioned in your previous experience of marketing that you are a partner for a company back in India where you help market dark chocolate.
Yeah.
And I was wondering if you could talk a little bit more about how that partnership came to be and how you plan to use those skills as marketing with a business and apply it to marketing to students.
Right. So the dark chocolates idea was actually an idea of one of my sister's friends, and she just came in with the idea because she saw that a lot of people do crave chocolates, and at times they try to put it off. They try to put off eating candy, chocolates, because they think that it's not healthy for their bodies, so they cannot enjoy it as much. So she thought, what if we what if we create a recipe such that it is healthy, it is tasty, and also it does not have any added chemicals, added preservatives, and all of that. The moment she discussed that idea with me, I was blown away by it, and we worked on the formulation for probably like 3-4 months. I was heavily involved in that, and then after that, marketing the product and getting all of those things through was something that I have been continuously working on. Now we are working on exporting to 6 different countries for the product. So just what we noticed was that every different group or every different area needs a different marketing strategy to get those people in. And since Iowa State is perhaps one of the most diverse places, Ames is one of the most diverse places here in Iowa, I would say, if not anywhere else, since we have students coming in from different countries, different states, all over the world. So I feel like there should be multiple kinds of strategies to bring in people and make them feel like they should be a part of this.
Senator Everhart.
Yeah, so I'm one of the senators that serves on the PR committee, which you would be overlooking. And one of my personal goals was to hold a PR-specific event or just some type of student government recruitment event
Right.
On Central Campus. Do you have any ideas for that?
I remember once I don't remember the student organization which did it, but they had hosted a kind of small event where they put in like bags, and then there were like some other small fun games to do, and there was some snacks, some drinks, and just people walking to and from classes. They just wanted to come in and play a game of bags or something like that. So stuff like this where they are actually coming in to have fun, and then we are actually explaining to them what student government means while we are giving them stacks, giving out stickers, something like that. I feel like that would be a very interesting way to get in more people and get them more interested.
Awesome. I look forward to working with you.
Me too.
Senator Trotter.
I'm very impressed by your resume and by what you seem to be doing. Although it does raise the question in my mind of, you seem to be doing a lot. You're running a multinational corporation, it would seem. You're taking college courses, of course.
Right.
And you intend to take on a rather physically demanding position, time-wise. Are you certain that you have enough time to take care of it all? Because collaboration has great miracles, but it can't do everything.
Right. I understand the concern that you have. And at this point, with the companies that I have, I am more into the review things. I analyze things on a 15-day basis to a month basis. I have people taking care of the day-to-day stuff who I trust, and I do not have to look into the day-to-day stuff every day. And with this, I have actually applied for this position because this was something that I was passionate about, as I spoke with Jennifer as well in the interview. And I feel like I could make enough time for this because I've been used to the strategies for which I can bring to the table for marketing, and I feel like this could be a good addition for the promotion of the student government, for my betterment as well, for my learning, and I definitely know that I could make enough time for that.
Okay, thank you. I'm satisfied. I yield my time.
Senator Rolls. If we can get him a mic.
Hi there. I'm very impressed by your little speech. I think you're very qualified for the position. I think you'll do a good job. But just because Senator Everhart didn't do it, if you could use one word to explain yourself, what would it be?
I'd say one word would be, I want to say enthusiastic, but I believe someone else used that word. So I would say inquisitive. Inquisitive would be one word that I would say about myself.
I love it. Thank you. I yield.
Call a question. If you withdraw, we have Senator Gopa. Senator Gopa.
So fun fact about me, I was on PR last year and we did a lot of events, but I'd say we wasted some money doing those events. So how would you figure out which event would be beneficial to students based on the amount of money we have?
So I one thing that I can think of off the top of my head would be just putting myself and a few of the people on the committee from different backgrounds, probably different committees as well, just putting ourselves in those shoes and just thinking whether this would be an event that I would be interested in if I was in that place. And perhaps some things are not as interesting for people. People think, some students think, okay, a freshman year, I'm too cool for this, I'm too cool for student government, sorry, I'm not gonna come to that. So stuff like this where we try to think from the perspective of the students and try to put ourselves in their shoes and just realize what students need at that point. What kind of guidance do they need? I feel like this strategy would work, but I'll have to keep getting into it, keep learning, and I feel like it would be a learning curve as well to know.
Other than people-to-people marketing, what other ways would you do marketing?
I'd say other strategies could be, so one thing that I thought about was collaborating with leasing companies on campus, trying to get them as sponsors so a lot of leasing companies like Block 1, Campus Town, they have a lot of food truck events and they have a lot of outreach events. So events like this where Iowa State Student Government can get associated at little to no cost and try to perform outreach for our events as well. These are the kind of places I feel like we could do a very good job, or else just through social media we could try to highlight various alumni and current students who have achieved something different than the typical path that students take. And we could focus this on them having different them having different backgrounds, different ethnicities, different preferences, all of that. And that would actually make students feel that to come and participate in student government. I feel like this just going online and just trying to go ahead with promoting a lot of small businesses that I believe, like the Innovate 1858, the Student Innovation Center store, promoting their small businesses, stuff like that. That could be something online that we could do.
Cool, thank you.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any objection to ending debate at this time and moving into a vote? Seeing no objection, closing comment, Speaker Heckbarth. UC has been called for. Is there any objection to passing this nominee by way of unanimous consent? Seeing none, the motion carries. Yes. Has been moved and seconded to strike Senator Wellman from the roll. Is there any objection to doing so? Seeing none, he shall be removed. And so with that, seeing no general orders, we will move into special orders, specifically new business. My friends, it has been a long time coming, but we will now see 2023-2-002F, funding a new printer for student government with Vice Speaker Kamstra.
Alrighty, so this is kind of been a frustration of a lot of people I know for a long time, and it's very limited access to the printer that is in the office. I spent about 30 minutes one day trying to get access, going through different documents, looking for the PIN, and then once that was resolved, it didn't work. So we came up with an idea to find a new printer, and we had gotten this printer at my fraternity. It is a very sustainable printer. We got it over 1.5 years ago. It has not run out of ink yet. It does not use the old ink cartridges, the black ones that are not recyclable. It uses a refillable tank. The refills are only $30, so significantly cheaper, and each tank or bottle goes with about 6,000 prints. So extremely sustainable when it comes to the ink side of things. Paper side, that's a different debate, but it is also a lot more cost effective when it comes to ink and maintenance. And for reference, this is what it looks like. Oh, maybe not. Hold on. Ready? Scroll down. That's it right there. So it's also a lot smaller than that large one in there. It still has copying capabilities. It has scanning capabilities. It only needs its cleaning is, it's self-cleaning. Once a week, it will self-clean itself and clean off the, it's not a printer heads, thank you. Printer heads, so it's very self-sustaining and provides its own Wi-Fi network to connect to your own laptops. We would be monitoring the printing, so that way we don't abuse the power of printing on this device, but its main goal would be used for printing off agendas, printing off placards, just little things here and there that we need printed for student government. Nothing big, we're not printing flyers on that, we have printing services for that. We looked into the necessity of getting a fax option on this, but we have email, so we decided that wasn't necessary. So, and it was an extra $200. So, working through the line items of the printer itself is actually on sale right now for $349. I didn't see it necessary to get ink replacements quite yet. Typically when we get a printer at Iowa State, you go through a contract service. They provide all the paper, they provide all the ink, they provide all the service. I recommend doing a 4-year warranty option through Best Buy, which would service it for free anytime within a 4-year term. And yeah, I think that covers all the bases, so I will answer yes or no questions.
And with that, the floor is open for debate. And like Vice Speaker Campster said, for our new members, first read items, he can only answer questions of intent, so yes or no questions, and we'll actually vote on this item next week. And so we'll start with Senator Gopa.
Are we getting rid of the old printer?
I believe that will go back to whoever it was like contract signed with. Yes, surplus. It would go to surplus per sale.
So we're getting rid of our old contract?
Yes, the old, yes.
Cool.
Yeah, we're getting.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. I'm only supposed to answer yes or no. I apologize.
Yeah, if we could keep it to that. Senator Mahoney.
It does have scanning capabilities, correct?
Yes.
Can it also print cardstock?
Yes.
Senator James.
So I'm trying to think of how to word this in yes or no. Will this warranty be going under your phone number?
No.
Do we have a student government phone number for this warranty to go under?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, I just work at Best Buy, so I know how it works.
I'm receiving nods from somebody else, so yes.
Oh, okay. So student government has a Best Buy account?
No.
Because you need a Best Buy account to get a warranty.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Sorry. And then, so just to clarify, will the box of paper be coming from our contract, or is that just going to be something we would have to systematically buy later? Because you made a comment about it being a contract.
I don't believe that's a yes or no.
I'm sorry. Then I guess.
No to a contract. There's no contract.
All right, got it. Sorry, that's the question. I yield.
Senator Cecil.
Have we looked at how often it'll be used versus the cost of just using printing services and having no printer?
No. Yes, I apologize. I did not do that research.
And so are you yielding? All right. And so if that's, is there any further discussion at this time?
Do I get closing comments?
Seeing none, not on a, no.
Okay, cool.
So seeing no closing comments and no votes, we've completed the business of this evening. Is there anyone here who would like to speak for closing comments, starting with Senator Mahoney?
So I just want to sort of throw this out there as a general call to action, everyone, and a sort of reminder. We are the representative body of the entire student population here. So every student has their voice in this room through a number of us. And there are a lot of big issues on campus right now. So I just want to remind everyone and encourage all of you to be talking to your constituents, to be asking them about all the different topics we're facing, whether that be the mental health resources here on campus, the D&I initiatives here on campus, and continue to talk to them about what issues they're facing in their lives so that we can make sure that their voices are being lifted up and that those concerns that they have are actually being heard in this room so that we can act upon them. Just want to call to action generally for everyone to continue to talk to their constituents as much as they can.
Advisor Sophie.
Just as a reminder, if you have been nominated this evening to a new position, if you could see me after the meeting so I can get your ISU email to get you on the systems, I would greatly appreciate that. Thank you.
Moving on to FD Hirsch.
One last thing I was just kind of waiting to add here. Please update MIS. I know we have a couple new faces. Just get that in there so I can do name tags. We have to submit it to trademark, and then we're going to be good to go on that. But please update MIS. It takes 2 minutes, and it's just so it works out best for everyone. Thank you.
Senator Jones.
Where is that?
It'll be an email sent to you shortly.
And since you're new tonight, I'm just going to make this as a general announcement because I realize we also have not done this recently. We use Microsoft Teams as our main form of communication within student government. So you will also be able to access it in Microsoft Teams once I add you in there, which I will do tonight so everybody that is new can hop on and get that info updated so Martin can order name tags ASAP. Thank you. Also, be on the lookout for Sophie's email if you're new.
So are there any further closing announcements before I move into my personal closing announcement? Senator Gopa?
The Iowa State Innovation Prizes this weekend. You can form teams over there and win up to $2,500 to your team. Pretty cool competition. I hope to see some.
All right. Are there any further closing announcements? Senator James?
I know this is a little late for engineering students, but in general, career fairs are coming up, so please, your career centers for your colleges are probably doing a lot of things. I know the College of Business has like a whole week going on and then a lot of events next week. So just keep an ear up for that. There's always so many resources on resumes, cover letters, interviews, clothing, on where to get it for affordability. So just keep your ears open for that because obviously I want everyone to have a successful time after Iowa State.
Oh, or another announcement, excuse me.
Yeah, so going on about careers services, you can get free portfolios from the career service buildings too. Like if you don't have the fancy folder to take the career fair, you can just rent it out for a couple of hours and they'll give it to you for free.
And so with that, are there any further general closing announcements? Seeing none, the part of the meeting where I can talk freely. President Holliday talked a little bit about this at the beginning, but we have had a chance now to get together and really hammer out what our executive priorities are for the year. Obviously, we had some unorthodox transitions going on, and so we're really glad that we now have a very clear picture of what we want to be doing this year. If you want to see that wonderful, detailed 5-page document, you're more than welcome. And we're going to start distributing, as President Holliday said, those ideas to our cabinet members so we can really start working on some hands-on things. Is something I'm very excited about. So keep an eye out for the ways that you can help with some of those great things through our committees. Earlier tonight, we confirmed Senator Eisma to asset. He already went through the process of explaining what that is, but ideally we should have 3 members on there. We put a significant amount of student dollars into asset, and so it would be great if we have anyone else who's interested in helping shape how that money is spent and making sure that we're purchasing all the services we need in our community. So if you're interested in that, please let me know. And I believe the last thing of substance I have to mention is Speaker Hackbarth sent out an email, I think since last week, about committees. That's been since last week. So if you want to take a look at that and see what committee interests you, if you're not already on a committee or two, obviously some of the chairs we're just now confirming, so hopefully we can get an updated copy of that with the right person to reach out to. And if you're interested in any university committees or city committees, we'd love to get our presence beyond our campus as well. So please reach out to me if you have any interest in that. So with that, I'll move on to Vice Speaker Campstra. How would you like to move to adjourn? Adjourned.
Do not use the elevator. Walk to the nearest stairway. Do not use the elevator. Walk to the nearest stairway.
Yeah, you're not on the thing. Yeah.